Howdy, everyone. I'd like to welcome those of you who are here to a live stream of the JS4WP Contributor Day. Now, if you have an interest in contributing yourself to something specific and you're hanging out, throw up in the chat and I'll see that, and we could get you going with something. What I'm interested, though, in seeing personally is just walking through at a high level all of the different, here I can close this for the moment, all of the different documentation that exists already, because there is quite a lot of documentation. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. I'll pull it up in a second once we get going. And I want to do kind of a big campaign around showing what's possible and just showing how far you could go and how much you could learn. So I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of all of the documentation and kind of making points and discovering things as we go along. And if anybody is open to contributing, we'll identify a lot of places along the way of like, hey, let's throw this one line in here. Hey, this could just use 2 paragraphs or even 2 sentences, and there's places for that. And a lot of this you could just hit edit in GitHub and begin contributing that way. So I think that this will be a pretty cool way to go about it. If you, hold on, howdy, saying hi to folks in the YouTube stream. If you are watching, throw something in the chat here. We're keeping it laid back. The conference went great. I needed to sleep in a little bit today, but we're still going to do some contribution and try to help spread the word and make that word better around WordPress. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm just going to jump in. So basically, again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start walking through all the documentation. We'll identify some places that might need some help. And if you want to contribute, then we'll just manage it here in the chat and stuff like that. And then if you want to get into like development contribution, I could help you find a way to do that as well, maybe fix some bugs or something like that. But that is the general approach we're going to take here. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Cool. And that looks good. Okay, so where we are at is the developer.wordpress.org/block editor. So let me throw this in the chat here. Here is the main docs starting point for us today. Cool. And so the first thing I'll point out is that all of this is inside of the main GitHub repo. So if you want to go in and make an edit or something and contribute, you just click edit. It comes here. It says you're editing a file project you don't have access to. Submitting a change to this file will write a new branch in your fork of Z Gordon Gutenberg. Now, I already have a copy of Gutenberg that I've been playing around with, so it might be an extra step for you. But basically, you could come here and say, here is my edit. Hope this doesn't do anything major. Just practicing contributing, because it's one step for you to make the change, and then it's another for you to submit the pull request for that change to be added. So hopefully this proposed file change, let's see what happens. I don't think that this should do the final thing. I could always cancel it out. Okay, yeah, no, so we're good. So what we could see here is that there was one file change, and stuff in green is going to be added, and stuff that is in red is going to be something that you removed. So let's, for example, go back to where we were. Reload it. Oh, I'm getting a little. Let's try deleting something. Trying to delete something. We propose file change. Sorry if I go off screen. Hopefully this comes back and keeps streaming. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I just want to make sure that didn't cut out completely. Okay, yeah, I think we're still good. So let's go to pull requests, make sure that mine was not one of those submitted. Yeah, and we can see that other folks have submitted pull requests that are helping fix things and stuff like that. And there are a bunch of issues. If you want to help fixing stuff that you can, and if you are interested, I don't have them here, but there is somewhere that there are some really good docs on contributing and adding that, and that's actually in the documentation as well. Here's a documentation repo. Let me show you this project in the chat. And this is kind of a documentation requests. I don't know what to call that. For those of you who have better understanding of contributing and do it more regularly, but basically stuff that wants to be done or should be done. Okay, and now let's come back and close all this to just here. Okay, so any file that's in here, we could basically edit and then make changes live in the browser and submit them. So if you read through the block editor handbook, you may find something here that you want. Notice that it has an image there. Maybe you want to add some more images, stuff like that. But I think that this is overall pretty good. Now, what I want to do is, as I kind of go along with this, and apologies if this isn't as fun to watch, but I want to start creating kind of a guide here in Twitter that can guide people through the block editor handbook and all of the documentation that exists. So I'm going to be grabbing some photos along the way and posting out some little tweets that are kind of going to be like little things along the way. So over the coming weeks, I will be running a series walking everyone through everything available in the Gutenberg documentation. The docs have come a long way and we can learn a lot from them. Start here, block editor handbook. And I want to let's do points down. Start here, block editor handbook. Cool. Walking through everything. I'm going to add the block. I don't want to do block editor because I feel like over time, like, yes, we shifted from calling it Gutenberg to block editor. Notice that it's not called the Gutenberg handbook anymore. And so the docs have come a long way. The block editor docs is what they are, but it's going to go beyond just block editor and become kind of everything over time. So I think we're just going to keep it generic with just docs and call it that. Oh, how to Mary, didn't see you there. Let me say hello. Okay, so yeah, I think that that's good. And now I could just grab that image, which is somewhere. This is going to be trouble. Hold on, let me clean this up here. See, the ridiculous way I organize things is by dragging everything into a desktops folder again and again. Okay, let's go grab this. Block editor handbook. Wait for it. Wait for it. Cool. Okay, now we drop that in. Add it to the queue. Pull it up to start tomorrow. Cool. Okay, step one. So block editor. Key concepts. Key concept blocks, it talks about what they are. It gives a little example of what they look like. And by the way, in terms of contributing, let me pull this up. This is the kind of stuff like putting a little code sample in between every few paragraphs to demonstrate what it's talking about. Like here it starts breaking down these different parts. A paragraph is a default block instead of a new line. Try to think of it. Users insert new blocks. excuse me, duplicative content. So maybe there's like something here showing the keyboard shortcut, or maybe you could put in like what 2 blocks of code would look like, right? So there's a lot of little ways that we could enhance it. And if you look through good documentation, it kind of has a flow of header, text, code, header, text, code. Like, so when we start to see a lot of just text, this is a place that folks can definitely insert some stuff. So more on blocks, block API, block styles, tutorial. And I guess that's coming. This is a little confusing, right? There's no links here. This would be a really easy win. You could link to these different sections of the handbook. So the block API, handbook, block API reference, right? So literally, if you're following along, you could just make this a link to there. Block styles is in there too. Theme for block, it's in there somewhere. Designer documentation, block, it's going to be somewhere. We passed it. I've seen it before. And then there's a tutorial down here and getting started with blocks, right? So that's a place where we have more in blocks, but we don't link to it. So that could be really helpful. The block categories, inserter and accordion sorted. So this is a great place for a picture. We could have something popping up where there is a little picture of what block categories look like, as well as for reusable blocks, right? When you group them together, a little screenshot of what that looks like. And we do have to be careful with screenshots because they will change over time. So maybe we're running a risk and it should be more text and stuff like that, but I think that we can add these enhancements, and if they need to be changed over time, can. Is a place where some sort of graphic could help too. Templates lie at the core of the block architecture, that we could line these up and give some nice stuff of letterpresses, or maybe like a generic graphic of what this could look like. And we'll see some design references and tools that we could use to create all of this. So blocks are higher level than HTML, yeah. The post dichotomy. It's not the artifact produced, namely the post content. So this is where seeing something like a line of PHP where it says a PHP block and a theme, the post content. This is what this is what you're going to use to access all of your data. So that could be something that's really helpful, because if somebody doesn't know what post content is, that it's a function that you wrap in PHP tags and put in a template, then that could be something that's really helpful. Then a tree of blocks, it shows what a bunch. See, there's no reason why these other ones can't have little code samples as well. Serialization, that's an important topic. I was just looking to see if there were any code bits in there. Parsing grammar. Okay, so I want to look up at a higher level again. The anatomy of a serialized block, that's great. This could also show like how would we access this in our core JavaScript, but that might be a little bit too much. Gutenberg lifecycle. This is a place where maybe a list of things that are happening could be helpful and give folks in more depth. But let's start with, how can we share this out? Is this a page that we really want to draw people to? Maybe this overview of templates. This is a place where a graphic would really help. And so let's just keep going. TrueBlocks, developer documentation. Okay, so this is where we're going to hang out for a bit today, although hopefully we could check out all of this stuff and run through it all. Creating blocks, headers are about blocks, create blocks, static blocks. It's weird that like static blocks isn't linked to, but dynamic blocks are. And saving post meta is something that could be linked up as well, because there is a section in here that we'll see for meta tags. So it looks like interlinking between the documentation is something that could really help with exploring. I know that when I'm reading docs and I'm reading a paragraph that has some things like this, I'm going to open this up in a new tab and I'm going to check that out and look through it. I might not look super in depth, but then I'm going to come back and keep reading here. So anywhere where you see saving post edit, stuff that could be linked across, this would be really helpful as well. To extend, because that we have it. Extending blocks shows the block filter section linked nicely, cool. Extending the UI editor, meta boxes, and theme support, autocomplete. So this is really great because it shows the higher level overview. So let's link to this one and then just kind of do a write-up on what that all includes real quick. Okay. Oh, you know what we need to do? Day 1. How many days do we want to do of this? Maybe we'll go back and edit that later. Coming ways new series. Huh. Okay, maybe we start this as our official day one. Announce it on Monday and then keep going. So let's see. Day, hashtag day 0. Okay, so now we could call this block editor documentation. Block editor JavaScript documentation for WordPress. I'm trying to think what we want to call this. So what is this series called? We're going to do a series on walking folks through the block editor documentation or the Gutenberg documentation. I wonder if I still want to keep calling it Gutenberg or we just switch to calling it block editor. Maybe we call it block editor. Let's do that. Block editor docs walk through block editor docs for WordPress. Day 1. So start here for an overview of what is possible. And then I don't know how much of this we're going to be able to get in, but I want to start adding creating blocks, extending blocks, extending editor, UI, meta boxes, theme support, autocomplete, parsing, and serialization. Block editor docs walkthrough, day 1. Start here for an overview of what is possible. All of this stuff. We do this, we link it up. Cool. So hopefully for those of you checking all of this out, like this might be some stuff that you could go back and extend a little bit, a little paragraph, a little demo, a little illustration, a little simple snippet of code showing what it looks like. But this is really higher level stuff. So just keep that in mind about this. But I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to copy this. I feel like these should have images now. So yeah, let's start here. Do this. Let's do the whole WordPress thing. Yep, cool. Big thanks to our sponsors who made this possible. Where'd my page go? Oh, it's right here. Sorry about that. Okay. Add to queue. Let's set that up for Tuesday. I like Buffer. Y'all use Buffer? What do you use for posting stuff out? Pretty big fan. Okay. Cool. So now let's go. What do we want to do? Do we start digging down at a deep level here through it all, or do we go to the designer documentation? Throw up in the chat what you think. Yeah, images are super helpful. You're calling it block editor. Rita, I'm just seeing this. Let me get back to you in the chat. Rita, all great points. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm curious to hear, what do you want to do? Do you want to go at a high level through designer docs, contributor docs, tutorials, or should we start drilling down into developer documentation? Let me hear what y'all think in the chat, and I will be back in a moment. Okay, howdy y'all, back at it. Let's see, any thoughts on developers docs, please? Okay, Rita, you got it. Let's keep on diving deep into developer docs. Okay, so that starts at a high level. We've got the block API reference, filter reference, slot fill reference, which is newer. I haven't even checked this out yet. I'm really excited. All this has been there, but it's getting organized better. Rich text, internationalization, all of these. So, we'll go through each one in order. We'll just kind of follow these guides here. Okay, so the block API reference, all blocks must be registered. So here's how I read docs. Like I said, anytime I see something linked up in the docs, and I'm going to open that in a new tab, all blocks must be registered. So I'm curious how they're supposed to be registered. Register block type. So it's talking about registering it with JavaScript. Block configuration. Y'all, this is confusing because I know what blocks look like, and this is confusing. So my thought here is that, let me put this in the chat, what page I'm talking about. Block API reference there. Let me put it here. Oh, I don't have access to the YouTube here. Sorry, folks that are watching in YouTube. I'm also streaming this over on the JavaScript for WP.com/conference page. You should just be able to scroll down to contributors day, and you'll see this embed there. So sorry I don't have access to the YouTube right here. I'm not double chatting. Yeah, keep going. So in my Gutenberg course, which I can't wait to have time to update, but I really want to get through some Gatsby content first. So I'll just throw this in here, Gutenberg course repo, because I'm definitely open to anything from the course being added to docs in terms of helping folks. So if we look at a static block here, notice how it has all of this, register block type, and then it gives the name, and then all of this. So it doesn't need all of this, but I think that this right here, this is confusing for me to only see like the isolated thing of categories and not see it in the larger scope. So if there's a comment that shows it in the larger scope, I think that that makes way more sense. This makes sense to me, but then it should be this again down here and broken out with each one added independently. I think that that would be a ton of sense. Does that make sense? Hold on, let me show you what I mean. So if we go to edit this, we could do something like block configuration, object key, string. Here's our data block. So I would put this here, that there, that, and space it out like that. See, so now we've got book and title. And then the next one is description. So we could do our data, our description. Right? Because this is going to show them in context and I think be a little bit more clear. Title for data object for block. Oh no, data description for block. Right, so if I just went through this and then I would add something like added context for code examples for block attributes, block settings. Boom, proposed file, cool. So these are the kind of things I'm suggesting. I'm not going to do a pull request on this. So I just, I'm trying to demo and help folks out who want to contribute more and get involved with this. 100% confusing. Oh no, what was confusing, Rita? Oh yeah, the way that this stuff is laid out, right? That's a little confusing. And traditionally, WordPress has really good things around that. So this would be, oh my gosh, could somebody please do this? This would be a great win for seeing how all this works. Now you could also see that they have this ES Next stuff. So you can submit your code to have both of those options. But for all of these, you could just do it with ES5. It doesn't matter. There's no real difference. So transforms, that looks pretty good. Parent, again, so this is another one where putting it in context would be super helpful. Yeah, I almost want to go in and do these myself, but I want to do a really high-level walkthrough. So let's do this as our next day. And put this up here. So we can come down, do our, what do we call this? Block editor docs for WordPress walkthrough, day 2. Block registration take place with JavaScript using the register block type function. Here are all of its possible settings. And then we can put a link to that. And then we need an example here. So we could do, yep, this, because at least this has the, that looks good to me. Cool. You know, I could just do a whole series on ways that we could contribute, but at least this way, I think hopefully we're sharing information. Even if this isn't the richest and best laid out, there's still so much data here, right? All of this is technically documented, so helping people find it. Now, how much of this do I want to include? How much room do I have here? Name, description, category, icon, keywords, styles, attributes. We're going to remove some transforms. And there's one more that I love, parent and supports. Okay, so what can we block it? Block registration with JavaScript uses register block type. I wish that we had like code formatting here. Block registration with JS uses register block type. Here are all of its settings. Here are its settings docs. Here are docs for its settings. Cool. Okay. Name, description. I mean, I think that there's more. There's like edit and save, but that's not really a setting. It's more, well, I don't know. Okay, I think that this looks good. Add to queue. I think we're on day 2 now, right? So it should be good. We got day 0, day 1, day 2. Now we can go day 3. Okay. So I think that looks good. And hopefully this is an easy place for any of you following along to be able to improve the documentation. I just want to see what has changed in supports, because this is a cool one. Block supports. Oh, it's just links to itself. Weird. Okay. Align. Default attributes. Anchor. I want to link to this specifically too. I think that this is a good one. Again, this is something that needs some help and some love, because it's not really clear that you have to put this inside of a supports thing like this, and then there's an object that has these settings inside of it. Oh, no. It's just a straight, yeah, you put a line wide as one of them and then true. So remove support for line wide, add support for let's see, what do we want to call this? Block editor docs, day 3. Blocks have optional support. You can easily customize the following options for a block. Alignment options. Let's call this align left, right, center. Align wide and wide or full. Add anchor ID. Add custom class. Edit as HTML. Show in inserter. Oh, I didn't know that that was one. That's cool. Inserter true by default, but you could set your block multiple. A non-multiple block can be inserted into a post one time only. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Use just once. Limit to one use. And reusable, whether it can be disabled the ability of converted into a reusable block. Interesting. All blocks can be. Make reusable. Prevent reusability? That seems weird. What am I trying to say here? Reusable or not? Okay, let's just do that. Oh no, unshortened, we got too much. Easily customize. All blocks support these options. Line wide. You can control these for all blocks. Align left, right, center, align wide and full, add anchor ID, add custom ID, edit as HTML showing. This isn't quite, yeah, I think that's fine. And how do we want to document that and show it? I like the align wide and anchor, so let's do like this. Cool. Hey, look, my apologies if y'all don't want to see me do this live stream or not, or with all of the stuff, the marketing that goes along with it. But hopefully this will reinforce important points in here. But also, I think that this is a really good way to share this stuff out. So a lot more people will see it than the few live streaming this today. So please bear with me as we do this. I think it's valuable. And every single one of these, y'all, again, needs to be added. So the edit and save components. Again, this should really be looked at in the context of everything else with WordPress. And then attributes, class name. So this is kind of weird because now they're showing attributes and class name is selected. These are slightly different. Set attributes. This is all stuff within the edit. And now the save one, hold on, edit. You add attributes in edit. You add the class name. Oh, class name is passed in as a prop. Got it. Used to seeing it this way. Yeah, that makes more sense. Go ES next. Check if it's selected. And then the save functionality. Attributes are so confusing, I found. Introducing attributes in editable. Oh, here's cool. Introducing attributes in editable fields tutorials. Again, this could be shown in full, but then do they do a register script? I think now we should also be using the register script PHP stuff, but I'm getting a little ahead. Saving attributes to children. Again, I think a lot of this could be shown inside of the full function, and it makes a lot more sense than just showing separately. But I don't know, my 2 cents. Validation, super important. I want to link to that. Okay, so there are 2 things I want to link up here. One is selected. I just dig this one, and I think that it's a good one to share out. So you could say, like, when editing, when building a custom block, you could easily check to see if it is currently selected, so you could customize your user interface. So something like that would be cool. What day is it? Day 4. When building a custom block user interface, you can easily check to see if the block is currently selected. Ooh. Cool. And then we're going to add our own screenshot here of is selected. See the pic. See the photo for how to do it with JSX. React. Subtle influence there, right? Subtle influence. Do you want to drop in for WordPress CMS? But there's noting it looks like, sorry, Jack, let me see your comment here. Can't see it too well in this browser. For one node GMS, drop WordPress. There's nothing that looks like for clients. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, Jack. Yeah, WordPress does not work on Node by default, or really at all. It's meant to be used with the LAMP stack. You could do it decoupled, or you could look at, if you really do need just a WordPress similar thing, there's something called, what was that called? Slipping my mind at the moment, but there's like a Node spinoff to WordPress called Ghost. But yeah, WordPress is not going to run on a Node server for the most part. Okay, so I think that that's a good one to share out, is selected. That's day 4. And now let's go, there's another one that was the validation stuff. I think that this is a really great one to link to. And yeah, let's do this. Because we could say, see, I think this is really helpful. Change my block, it said. And then it refers to the deprecated blocks. So we will get there in the documentation. We're going to come back to that. But I think that this is all the good stuff to share out so far. So block editor, walk through day 5. When building custom blocks, you will at some point, many points, get the following validation error. Here is an overview of why and how to troubleshoot it. And then we get that pick. Yeah, you will. You know you're going to see this error, right? This block appears to be modified externally. Block editor day 1, when building custom blocks, you will at some point or many points get the following validation error. So should we say what the error is? That would be helpful to them, right? Block appears to been We'll just call it the validation error. Cool. I think that works well. All right. So that is good. Let's go on to the next section, which is attributes. Oh, man, these are so confusing. Let's reread these, see how they're good. I've taken like multiple stabs at trying to contribute to these docs, and I never get far enough along. I was not at WordCamp Europe. Maybe next year. Okay. Comments or attributes are used to define how block attribute values are extracted. This is so confusing. I don't know that if I read these, like I kind of began to make sense of them as I was doing it, but this was really confusing for me at the beginning. So if anybody wants to take a stab at explaining what attributes are, which are basically any piece of data in your block that might change, that could be helpful. Attribute, again, this needs to be shown in context to show that it goes inside the register post type, register block type, because otherwise, like, how do we know where this code goes? All right, so really helpful docs are going to show the context at some point of where it goes. Shows how to do a text one. See, the other thing too is that like all of these, you could do a text one without a source and without a selector, because then it will just be tracked via the attributes in the comments. So I think it might be smart to like show those simpler examples, because all of these are sourced. And the more blocks I wrote, the more I felt like, oh, we could just, rather than grabbing this from the data, a lot of this can just be saved and manipulated just in memory. Query meta, so considerations. By default, meta fields, yep. I'm not even going to link to this one. I think this one could use some love from somebody who really understands attributes now and can explain things well. But it's here in the docs. This is a really good one. Deprecated blocks. So let's see if it has it. See, this is beautiful. See how they have the whole setup, how to register a block, other block properties here. This is exquisite. This is beautiful. This is what every one of them, in my opinion, should have on it. So if you want to contribute in a huge way to every single page that we've seen so far, copy this code, although this is going to look a little bit different now, but whatever. Copy something like this. Maybe it doesn't need to have attributes out here, and show things in the context of register block type. Please, this would be so helpful to the docs and everybody reading them, right? Because those other pages are confusing otherwise. Thank you and blessings to whoever did this one. Great job. All right, so now we see that we could add deprecated, and we could pass in the new attributes and update the save with whatever we want our new one to be. So in the past, or our old one. So this is what it was before, and now we want it to be a div instead. So this will not cause our blocks to break. So I want to just grab a quick example of that. And I'm going to highlight this part. Let's just get this. Oh, we need to show them what the attributes are. Sorry. Make it a little wider for the Twitter crop. Cool. Okay. Changing the attribute set. Yeah, so sometimes you have to change what it is. Yeah, this is great. See, and it's going to collapse the full source so that you could still see everything. So the attributes were content, and then in the past, you could pass attributes here and then migrate attributes into the new value. So this is really powerful feature, and I'm so glad that they have this. Changing inner blocks. Migrating the blocks, we need to add or remove inner blocks. So block wants to migrate a title attribute. So we could see, these are really good examples. Whoever did this, really, really good job. Shows how to load dash. Now there should be a note here that you need to add load dash in order for that to work. Cool. Okay. So let's do something here with this. So block editor for docs, day 6. To prevent, if you need to make changes to your blocks already in use, make sure to follow these deprecation guidelines. Gonna do the two-step and cowboy boogie. Yeah, it right. Change the box already and use to make sure to follow these deprecation guidelines. Very clear. Cool. These ones are great, y'all. This is great. If all of our docs look like this, we would be in such a better place. So this would be a really easy place for anybody wanting to contribute here. Now we come into templates. Block templates are so great. This would be great to have a picture or some sort of thing at the top that shows what it looks like to have a template where you click on it and then it shows the default blocks. Please, a screenshot or something would be super helpful here. So block template is defined. Again, all you got to do is click edit and go in and start adding this stuff. So pretty easy to do. Okay, scope of templates, setting a default state dynamically, like default block. What? Block templates allow default initial state. Still a little confusing for knowing what this is. It's hard for me to look at this. Yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, I guess this makes sense. The scope of templates includes setting a default state dynamically on the client. I feel like it's first. I don't know. Maybe this is just confusing me. This planned additions. Yeah, I don't know if this is smart to have in the docs. I guess it is, but it'll just have to be kept updated. Templates can be declared in JS or in PHP. I didn't know they could be in JS. I thought that it had to be PHP. So PHP example. Oh, yeah, you could do a block template in the actual block file. But oh, I did not know that. I thought that inner blocks. Yeah, if it's a certain, It's interesting. I did not know that. Meta block tutorial for an example of a template in use. Let's see this. Finishing touches. Add the following meta block file. That does not block templates. Interesting. That's a bit of a weird circle. Anyways, see, I'm not sure if this is just creating an inner block or if this is actually creating a template. I'd have to test that code, but cool. Custom post types. Custom post types can register its own template. Oh, cool. So you could do that there. You could lock down them. You could have nested templates. That's pretty cool and confusing, but totally possible. Okay. So I don't know what could be added here. I don't know. Maybe this is good. Maybe just some images or showing what this looks like. That's probably what would be most helpful here, is if we had some graphics at the top that just showed off what this is doing, or like a GIF or something. I think that would be a ton of help for those interested. Let's share these out. Day 7. Block templates let you set and lock default blocks to display different post types, users, etc. Yeah, you could display it based on user, but that might get confusing. Yeah, maybe we don't say that, display for different post types. Let's just leave it that way. You can set them up using JavaScript or PHP using this guide. Cool. We do that. Put that there, put the full link so people could really see, because we want to get people to start seeing developer.wordpress.org/block editor, all that stuff. So let's just grab that there. Okay, templates is cool. Annotations, this one's a little bit more confusing. Yeah, I guess we're getting along in the block API. So this is experimental. Is it still experimental? Good to know. I thought it was rolled out, but it might still be experimental. So this is basically a way to customize within the block editor. Trying to see if there's, or within the rich text editor, sorry about that. This is a little bit more confusing. I have the block, at least 200 characters long with a format. Yeah, this could probably be block annotates. Annotate a block, read the selector property and set it to block. There's a range. Annotations, sources. Yeah, I don't know. This is still a little confusing to me. I mean, I know what it's trying to do, but honestly, if it's still experimental too, I'd probably let it stabilize a little bit. So this can maybe be helpful for somebody who knows what they're doing. There's also a there's a tutorial for it somewhere. Format API, yeah. Isn't the annotation the format API or no? Annotations are a way to highlight a specific piece of a post created with commenting on a piece of text and spell checking. Use the annotations API to mark a piece of content. Yeah, that's a little complicated. I also haven't dug into this. The formatter, okay, this is different. Format API is different. Okay, sorry about that. Annotations, cool. Highlight text. Looks hard. Okay, filter reference. So now we're out of the block API, filter reference. This is great. Hooks. This is confusing because now it links to hooks, and this does not reference back to the PHP hooks because this just goes into, or it doesn't reference back to the JavaScript hooks. So maybe this main hooks page should have a reference here saying that there are JavaScript and PHP hooks. Actually, that's super important because plugin handbook hooks, they don't know here that there are JavaScript hooks. And over here, where we link to it from, this should not be the very first link taken to PHP. That could be very confusing. So maybe we got to update that other one to know that this is here. Plugin API, where does this go? Hooks package, okay. Yeah, I guess that's not bad. That's a little confusing though. Now it's going to get into all the block filters. And I think one thing that could happen here is that you need to know how to enqueue these. So you could either enqueue them separately, or they could be in a block file, or not in a block file, but embedded with all, or imported into all of your blocks. So yeah, don't know. That might be helpful. Yeah, see, enqueue your JavaScript. Yeah, that's good. Filters, block register. Oh man, it's just bringing back flashbacks to my course. So I went through in my advanced Gutenberg course, advanced Gutenberg, and there is a filters one where I go through a bunch of the filters. So if you want to, you could check this out and begin going through and adding examples for all of these. So it might be nice to have those. There's a couple of examples here. But let's see, what is this one doing? Let's link to some of these because these can be really helpful. Block edited, use the blah, blah, blah. That's a little dangerous. Get extra props, get saved element. So full example of JavaScript. What is JavaScript? Extending the block. Okay, that's not going to help here. Again, just knowing what these do, if there is an image of block style variations, that might be something that's really helpful to have a graphic of block style variation. annotations. Let's just see if we can find some real quick. Picture of what. Don't steal from the internet, but it would be nice to have it. Should I just fire this up and try it myself? I think I have some WordPress sites on here. Let's see. Let's see what we got in local. That sounds dangerous to update it now. Let's not do that yet. I have one from Gutenberg course. Let's log in and grab a screenshot of it, shall we? Let's go to the dashboard. Advanced WordPress block development. And what are we looking for? The styles API. Oh, you know what? I think I got a blog post. There's a CSS. Huh. Yeah. But do we have an example of what it looks like?
But that is blocks.
Yep. Click right there.
A color palette.
Cool. Let's go full screen, grab a quick picture of that. That doesn't look so good. I need to grab it in local. Let's see. Gutenberg courses. I think that's a good one. Oh, no, that's the website, gutenberg.courses. It's not good. Let's get the Gutenberg site going. Ah, okay, Rita's in and out. No worries. Thanks for letting folks know how it's going. Gutenberg.local. All right, so let's check this out. Let's first update it because this is crazy out of date. All right, let's see if it'll still work while we're going, because I could just add a new. Okay, so I'm just testing the block quote, and we can show the styles right here. I swear I had a tutorial on this. Did I not? Let's make this a little bit smaller, make this a little bit bigger. See if we've got the plugin. Yeah, let's download the plugin and just check that out real quick for the advanced course. Download, add new, upload. Go back, test. Now we got a quote block, quote text, citation. Uh-oh. Thought we changed that with the styles API. Nope. I know this is probably going into a little bit too depth here, but I thought that no, weird. Okay, I guess that's all we're getting there. Okay, that's fine. Do we really not have any blog posts that were styles API? Sidebar API, that's what it was. We did not do a styles API. Oh, okay, add that to the list of tutorials we need to do. Anyhow, block style variations, cool. Great. Let's put this in, block editor docs, state 8. Great way for themers. Developers to add custom styles. All blocks is to use the styles API. And is there no tutorial here for styles API? No, there isn't. There really should be, though. Okay, block style variations. Add custom and consistent styles for all blocks is to use the block styles API. Cool. Schedule post. All right. Block style variations. I think that. Oh, these are all the filters. Block filters are confusing, and I don't know that these docs help as much. I do have a tutorial on this, but the goal of this is not to post out a tutorial. It's to post out to the documentation. So let's do a little combo, because I think that this is a little bit confusing. Are we on day 9? What day are we on? Day 8. Day 9. Block filters allow you to change blocks on the fly with JavaScript. And then I'm going to say tutorial. I'm going to put the link to a blog post that I think will help a lot. And then once you have that, then you can read the docs, I think, a little bit easier. So if folks are interested and they want to take some of what's in this article and maybe port it over into the documentations to make it a little bit more clear, people would probably benefit from that. Okay. Filters tutorial, official docs, filters documentation. Yep. Block filters allow you to work out. And then let's say you may find this block filters tutorial helpful as well. Let's put that in there. Nice and short. Cool. Okay, I like that. And then we need to say, oh, block filters. Let's do it like that. Okay. Cool. All right, so those are all our block filters. Again, I think that these could be helpful to show in order. I mean, in context. But some of them are PHP, some are JavaScript. This is a little bit confusing. This could definitely use some love from someone who has played with these a little bit. Editor filters, experimental. We're going to kind of skip experimental today. I think that that's okay at this point to focus on stuff that's stable and making that really clear because it's not going to change most likely. Server-side parsing. Yeah, this is well, I don't know if this is super helpful. Not possible to replace a client-side parser. Skip that. Autocomplete. Extending and overriding the list of autocompleters. Autocomplete component found in block editor applies this filter. This was one I had trouble using, but I think that people have Gutenberg autocomplete component. Yeah, this might be helpful. So let's link to Igor's article here when we do that. Okay. By the way, this is also a place where maybe looking at some of these other articles could be helpful as well to check design docs. Okay, we'll get into design docs too. That might have been referencing something specific. Sorry about that. So let's do a big grab of this. Autocomplete. Let's say WordPress docs day 10. You need an autocomplete. If you need autocomplete functionality for your blocks, WordPress has an autocomplete component. Is that the way it actually looks? So let's double check. Yep. You can easily customize. So let's grab that, put that there, grab this graphic, and then let's say here is a helpful tutorial. Oh, is there a tutorial in the docs? Because we want to try to focus on. Nope, there's not. Tutorial on tutorial from, let's just give Igor some credit. Actually, that's not the correct Igor, it's Igor Benek. Cool. Block editor docs for WordPress. If you need autocomplete functionality, WordPress has an autocomplete easily customized. Cool. Schedule post. All right, autocomplete. Saw fill reference. Yeah, I haven't even read this one yet. Super excited for this. Please see the slot fill component docs. Oh, it makes my head hurt. It looks good. This could maybe use some, no, this looks pretty good. Maybe a picture or something showing what this looks like. Slot fill reference. Yeah, and then here are all of the slots and fills that you could use. So let's create out some links to this. I think day 11. WordPress uses a slot fill system for adding custom code into the block editor. Right, it's only into the editor, I think. I'm going to say a slot fill plugin system, adding custom code in the block editor. Here is an overview in the docs. And just shows you how that stuff goes in and how you could add your fills right there. That's a pretty good one. Maybe this is the one I want to show. Let's see, which source code do I show? I think that this is probably a better one. Maybe this one. Let's see what looks clearer, like a, yeah, that looks more like. Yep, let's use that. Oh, block styles from earlier. Rita, you're brilliant. Just seeing that now. Oh, you're so right. Okay, now let's keep on. Now, each one of these, I don't know if we, let's see. Oh, that's so good. See how far a picture goes? It's worth a million words. Although this could probably use a better alt description, but this is really good. Plug in more menu. Ooh, I want to download all of these and put pictures to each of these. Yeah, this is so helpful. Or we should just take all these pictures and show them on the main one as examples. So yeah, let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's download all these and show this stuff off. Download. Save images. Download. Save images. Download. Keep going. It is going to be so helpful for people because it shows all of the different places that you could add your code. And so this will be like, well, how do I move it up there? Oh, you can't, because that's not where the fill goes. And you could write your own stuff so that you could customize that as well. I need to grab that one. Cool. All right, let's make a little, because we can't, how many images can we put up with buffer? I don't think that many. Yeah, only 4. I guess that'll be okay. Are they good ones? Yeah. Some of that duplicate. Yeah, that's good. Okay. It's day 12. Here is a list of docs for the and the list of docs for each of the slots available in this block editor. Cool. Now let's grab each of these, go to the bottom, grab all the links. Cool. We are not going to be able to put all of these in. Available slots for custom code. Wait, what? Those links don't work. No, okay, somebody want to do a quick fix? These should be linking to actual files, and they are not. Okay, so we have to be more judicious about which ones of these we choose. C. I'm just going to put them all up here, and then we will figure out which ones we want to keep, and we will do a partial list. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, because we can't link to that one part of it because that link is broken in the docs. So, oopsies. Okay, so let's see which ones of these are we most likely to need. Okay. Slot, fill, options, and block. Here are just some of the slot fill options for custom code in the editor, in the block editor. Okay, so let's see which ones of these do we need the most. Block settings. The slot allows for a new item on the more options. Yeah, that's pretty helpful. But this one goes under plugins, not under more options. I think that's helpful too. One of those two. Post publish panel. I like that one. So one of these two that's shorter. Let's do plug in more menu here, just some of the slot fill options for custom code in the block editor. Post status, let's remove the pre-publish panel. Although that's a good one too. Let's remove that one. And that one are a few of the slot fill options in the editor. Oh, so close, we could get it. That one character right there. Cool. We need one more character. What can go? That should be slot fill. Slot. Walk through day 12. Here are a few of the slot fill options. Cool. That's really good docs. I love that they put pictures, y'all. This is so great. If we could add more pictures, I think that that would go a long way for folks. Okay. Rich text reference. So the rich text editor has the ability to, wait, what? Each block are best used for when creating your own blocks. Rich text is used for the text. Heading is used for that. Search is used in two. Okay, so it's showing you, oh, what core blocks are using rich text. And then here are examples of how to use rich text. But does it go into, this is a really good troubleshooting tip. HTML formatting tags. Wait, where are all the options for rich text? This does not make sense to me because, oh, here's the component reference. That does not work either. Hold on. There should be a list of all the different things that we could do with it, right? Because see all of these? Tag name, class name, value, formatting controls, on change, placeholder, this stuff. Huh. Check out the component documentation on GitHub. Yeah, see, this shouldn't live on GitHub. This should somehow be, well, this is in the docs somewhere, so we should be able to link to this because I bet somewhere in here, package reference. What is it called? Rich text. Element OP, QRS. Yeah, okay, so yeah, rich text reference as well as the rich text package. And I guess that's clear, but like, I would like to see a bit more here about some of these values. Although that's a pretty good option, but maybe that is good enough. Maybe that is nice, but I don't know, that was a little confusing. I was expecting to see a bit more. But I guess that is a question. No, because if you're going to build a reference page for it, then you probably need to pull some of this stuff over. And this is all just straight documentation from the actual source code itself of how this is written. So I think that it's fair to port some of those over and make this a true reference guide. So if you're still watching and you're looking for ways to contributing to rich text and explaining what each of these does, I think would be an important thing. It is a little bit of duplication, but I still think it's important. Okay. So let's put, is it day 13? The rich text component is used for, is useful anytime you need users to a text area editing ability. Here is an overview. Oh no. Did it remember that last tweet? No, it didn't. Darn. Oopsies. Day 13. Okay, so the rich text component is useful anytime you need a user to edit text with rich text ability. Here is an overview. Here are more in-depth docs. And then I want to put it that. Overview, docs. And we could do in-depth docs, right? And then we could show what the rich text component looks like. I thought I already took a picture of it. Yeah. Yeah, this definitely needs, I mean, this is nice that it has this, but can I make this 100%? Thank you. But then the other thing this doesn't have is it doesn't show you how to actually display it using the rich text like display, which is somewhere not in here. This is confusing, y'all. This might not. Okay, this definitely now needs a little example here, and it needs to show the it shows the example here. This is also important, rich text content. So I actually want to edit that. The rich text and rich text component. Yeah, no, this is help. We're good. Rich text goes there. And then rich text content goes there. And there we go. 2 pics. All right, rich text. I like that it has some troubleshooting stuff there. Anytime you do something in WordPress and you're trying to search for the answer and you don't find it or you find it in a tutorial, it's always good to come back here and like add a little common issues and solutions thing. That's great. Okay, internationalization. This is a huge one. How do you, okay, so what does it say? 18 stands for the number of letters between first I and the last N. I-118N, internationalization. How to internationalize your plugin. So good, it shows the PHP. How to use this in JavaScript. That's how to add it. That's great. Here's an example of using it. Great. It shows that it's common to the counterparts in PHP. That's great. After all string code and route, the final step is using the WP scripts translation. Okay, we got 30 minutes of our session. Good to know. I got to keep an eye on that. Let me set a little timer here. Oh, shoot. just talking with the editor for all the conference videos. We need to get them transcribed. So trying to do that. Creating your own translations. Okay. Creating the language file. This is great. I'm so glad load a translated language file. Again, that's another step. And testing. Okay. We need a couple things here. We need to put that on day 14. The block editor docs have an entire section dedicated to internationalizations with JS I18N library. And then let's list out what it shows how to do, right? That'll be helpful. What is internationalization? How to use this. Final step contains transition. Using it's a function. And then providing your own translation. Okay. What is internationalization? How to use JS. Providing translations. Cool. Okay. And let's link to this. We might not be able to fit all this in. Yeah, unshorten. So let's remove the block editor. We have an entire section dedicated to JavaScript internationalization. Okay, what is internationalization? How to use I18N.js using providing translations. There's one other step. We use this. We use that. Oh no, that shows it how to use it. Okay, yeah, that is good. Yeah, and then let's use this big, nice picture here. Cool. I'm really liking this, folks. I think that this is good. This has improved quite a bit over time. This is nice too. This is also where a screenshot could be helpful for folks. Again, there's a lot of places where these images could be really helpful. And are we end it? Oh man, we're still not even through this whole developer documentation. We might have to pause here in a few moments. Accessibility. For more information, see the Make WordPress Accessibility Handbook, Accessibility Team section. It's all best practice, really all the content, the page and landmarks so that readers who rely on them can navigate. See the Navigate Regions package. Hire a component on keyboard navigation to switch between regions or role. Okay. Let's take a screenshot of that. Navigate regions. Reading more about it, general principles. This is all offhand. Yo, we could use so much more accessibility here. There is so much that could be brought in here. It's not even crazy. It is crazy. So adding keyboard navigation to switch between, okay. I don't know if we want to link to this accessibility. I don't know that this is like super proud, but I guess it does link to other things. And we could say general accessibility page and native regions component. So maybe we just share about the native regions component. I didn't really know about that one before. What day are we on? 15, I think. The navigate regions. Navigate, nope. Navigate regions. Let's just do it this way. Navigate regions, higher order component allows for adding keyboard. Let's circle this. For adding keyboard navigation, switch between DOM elements marked as read and control region. And let's just add that. Navigate regions. And then we'll just put hashtag accessibility. Cool. Okay. Let's see how much, when is this session over? We got a few more minutes left. Okay, let's see what else we can get through. Accessibility, feature flags, what's that? Phase 2, oh, that's kind of cool. The phase 2 feature or constant should be exported using the following syntax. Export, oh, I did not know about that. Phase 2 feature, okay. During the Webpack build process, any instance for dead code elimination, that's important. Why should I only use and that, not that? Okay, that's helpful. There's a need to prefer introducing. Okay, let's get a screenshot of this. But we need this to be wider. So excuse me while I CSS my way around here. Yep, that'll do. That'll do. Boom. Okay. Cool. Day 16. If you are developing for new phase 2 or phase 3 hashtag Gutenberg features, you should check out these docs on feature flags. On using feature flags in your code. Okay, and then that's a feature flag. Cool. I think that's pretty good. Okay, let's see how much we can get through here. We got 20 minutes left of this session, but I think we can maybe make it through. Okay, let's go to the next section. Theming for the block editor. Yay! Super in depth, y'all. Oh, there's not much here. Let's go to theme support. I love this one. We're definitely linking up to this one because this is huge. Responsive embeds. I love this kind of stuff. A lot of these examples could probably use some of this at the top of them. That would be super helpful. Shows you how that looks good in the functions.php. Good use. And then it starts showing each of these. But this is where we should have this for each one of these. You know what I'm saying? And here's developer docs for add theme support. Oh, that's the PHP one. Yeah, it's not what we want. Okay. Oh, yeah, no, that is one. Add theme support. Wide alignment, align wide, block color palettes, block font sizes, disabling, editor styles, dark backgrounds, and queuing editor style, basic color. I don't think we could list all of these, but let's try it. Day 17. All right. So there are a number of great add theme support options documented. I'm not going to be able to get these all. Oh, we could do it like this. We could do what they are. Align wide. This doesn't show editor color palettes. Span full course. Yeah, editor color palette. Editor font sizes. Disabling. Custom font sizes. Disable custom colors. Editor styles. You need to opt into that. That's a good one. Dark backgrounds, dark editor style. I don't think a lot of people know about that. Style editor CSS. Wait, add editor style. We have this. That's different. Basic colors, changing width. Cool. Okay. Ooh, responsive embeds. That's such a good one. WP block styles. This is technically different, so we won't add that. Okay, but how do we get add theme support options, block editor options. Oh, we need the link. Please, no. Okay, hold on. Let's fix this. Add theme support, like that. Align wide. Can we do anything else to shorten any of these? Align wide, editor color palette. Are any of these not add theme support technically? Editor font sizes, color palette, align wide. Well, it'd be so fun to get all of them. Add theme support. We're getting close. We can just remove one of these. Let's remove that. So close. And then this URL ending. No, that didn't make a difference. Lock editor, so walkthrough day 13. Blah, 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 blah. Let's undocument that. Cool. Okay, we did it. Theme support. Okay. We're almost there. Backward compatibility, and then we're through our developer documentations with 15 minutes to spare. Okay. Backwards compatibility. Empty. Anybody want to help there? Deprecation. So this is just going to show if you want to track what has been deprecated or changed over time. What day is it? 18? Hold on. 17, 18, yep. How many of these are we going to do? I think we do like 30 or something, right? Do like a nice month-long blast of these. Day 18. Anytime a feature or anytime something is deprecated in the editor code base, it is documented here. Gonna do the two-step and cowboy boogie. Cool. Meta boxes. Okay, so is this, oh, backwards compatibility. Okay. So you should be porting over PHP, see the MetaBlocks tutorial, so we could link to that too. And yeah, so we'll just link, oh, this needs some code help and love there. MetaBox component, yeah. This could use some love and help, but we're still gonna link up to it. And let's just say we're day 19. These docs go over how and why to, when and how to convert PHP meta boxes over to the newer meta box. No, these docs go over backwards compatibility for steps for PHP meta boxes. PHP driven meta boxes in the editor. Cool. Okay. And then we could say this is the, nope, that's not it. 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 This is the overview one. Overview. Let's leave it unfurled. And then we've got the tutorial for meta box blocks. Well, that's going to be in there. Yeah, so let's just do backwards compatibility here. Let's go over backwards compatibility, steps for meta boxes in the editor. Cool. Schedule post. All right, we are coming up on the last few minutes here. So did we get, no, that's the tutorial. Meta boxes, we got through the developer documentation. It took us nearly 2 hours, but and for the 3 of you or 10 of you or so watching live, thanks for hanging out. Honestly, I don't know how helpful this is going to be for everybody watching, but if you are watching and want to contribute, hopefully this is a lot of areas for you to contribute and really become involved. And one of the benefits of that is that people notice that, and you start building your network of people who are really involved with this project, and that could be a really cool thing to do. So I'm going to take a little break for a while, and then I will come back with the designer documentation and some of these other stuff and tutorials, and we'll keep our little series going here of information around the block editor handbook. Cool. Thank you all so much for joining this session. Let me stop sharing screens so I can. All right, yeah. Thank you all so much for hanging in there, and then I'll be back and start streaming again in a little bit. So see you soon.